Our journey through Britain, which began in Glasgow, ends here in London, with the final stage, a circuit through the streets of Westminster. It's been a difficult summer for the capital city, but we've found here and all over the country, people are looking forward with excitement and anticipation to hosting the Olympic Games in 7 years' time.
The Games of the 30th Olympiad in 2012 are awarded to the city of London.
London have won it! The Games are coming to London for the first time since 1948. Absolutely brilliant!
Today's event is the first of many that will come to the capital in the run-up to the 2012 Olympics. It provides the perfect opportunity to showcase itself to the world. It's a city full of history and tradition with a multicultural population. The Tour of Britain is helping to show London in its full glory. After gold medals on the track at the Athens Olympics, the sport of cycling is currently on the up, and Sport England are hoping to continue the momentum.
Well, we're working closely with British Cycling to make sure that we run off on the back of events like this. So we've been very successful on the track in cycling. We've done very well in terms of winning medals. What we're now doing is trying to get more people pedalling up and down. The great thing about cycling, whether you're 3 years old or whether you're 83 years old, anyone can have a go.
And Peter, an event like this just shows exactly how much fun it can be. Great crowds have been out right through this Tour of Britain.
Yes, absolutely. This sort of event brings the thrill and excitement of competitive cycling to the ordinary man in the street, to people in the villages and towns all over the country, and helps us to raise the profile of it as an activity as well as a sport.
As part of the final day's festivities, the City of Westminster hosted a hand cycling event, which was won by women's world champion Monique van der Vorst. The race aimed to promote the new sport of hand cycling and improve the public's perception of disability sport. There was also the Transport for London Grand Prix for the Bob Chicken Trophy. In a thrilling contest over 20 laps, Ian Holt led home the field of over 150 riders. Following this, the main event, the finale of the 2005 Tour of Britain. 88 riders remained from the 95 who started in Glasgow. On a beautiful September afternoon, an estimated crowd of over 100,000 people lined the 1 mile circuit.
What better way to finish the Tour of Britain than a stage through the streets of London? Every section of this course is lined with people, up Whitehall, down Northumberland Avenue, along the embankment. It really will make for an exciting climax to this event.
1 mile the circuit, and believe me, the riders are going to be racing round here at 30 miles an hour plus. Everybody wants to win the final stage in the heart of the city of Westminster.
Of course, the Quick Step team are charged with keeping it together. They know they're within sight of the overall classification. 1 week's work is now coming to its culmination. They just need to get to the finish line without incident or injury, and maybe even try a hand for winning the stage.
The overall situations then, Nguyen's leading Blautzen by 8 seconds, and in third position it's Javier Cerro Molina at 23 seconds. Fourth is Ben Day, the Australian, on the Mr. Bookmaker team, and he trails the Spaniard by a further 5 seconds. This is the Polo World Rider on the front, trying to stretch the field out.
I'm not quite sure why he's on the front here. He's definitely contributing to keeping this pace high though, Hugh.
They're all stretching out, aren't they? It has been run off at a frenetic pace, this concluding stage. 30 miles an hour, almost impossible for anybody to break clear. There have been 1 or 2 spirited efforts, but they've only just managed to establish a few metres, and they've been pulled back. So this is the back of the field. That's the worst place to be. It's almost like chasing a shadow there. It's that much quicker. This is the British rider, Tom Southam, riding on the Barlow World Squad, riding through the Transport for London sprint point. The field stretching out.
Well, that's why he's on the front, Q. That's a few quid in his pocket there. So I doubt he'll have the impetus to keep going now. No, sure enough, he's moving over. Job done, back into the pack. And as you were saying earlier, when this really strings out, that group is somewhere in the region of half a minute long from front to back. So if you actually get caught out at the back of the peloton, it's so hard to actually move up. It's so much easier to just keep going through and stay in that first 10 riders. But of course, everybody knows that. There's only 10 places and they're very hard fought for. So Criterium Racing can be very aggressive.
Well, the riders' confidence is beginning to grow and grow now, and they're taking these corners quicker and quicker. the CSC team sitting right in the wheel of the Stagione that is riding on the Quick-Step squad, and that is Ivan Santoramita, serving his apprenticeship with a Quick-Step team and hoping to be given a full contract. Right in his wheel there is Bron Eriksson, one of the Danes on that CSC team.
Well, they know that the best way to control the race is to keep the pace high. As you mentioned earlier, very hard to get a breakaway going, but on a circuit course, if you actually do manage to get a gap, it's also very hard to chase it back. So they have to be vigilant now. They only have a few miles to run. This race will have ended incredibly successfully for them.
And there are still bonuses on the line. 10 seconds for the win, 6 for second and 4 for third. So should there be a delay for Nguyen somewhere around the circuit, and Blautzen could profit from that, the conclusion of this race could still be in doubt.
Well, Blautzen, that's his only chance now. Nguyen knows the score, and that will be the one wheel that he watches for this entire stage. He just won't let Michael Blautzen get an inch.
Massive crowd are really enjoying the action here, and I'm just wondering who is going to win this stage. Degano on the Barlow World team was the winner of this concluding leg 12 months ago, and he's a handy sprinter to flag up as a possible top 3 finisher here today.
Well, I would say Mark Cavendish would be my bet. We've seen him sprint well, we've seen him win a bunch sprint here already in this race, and this would be a perfect ride for him. His teammates know he's good, they could line him up. Of course, we have Roger Hammond as well, who could play in the finish.
Well, Cavendish won the Bob Chicken Grand Prix last year that preceded the final stage. Things have happened for him this season, though, because he's the World Madison champion. He won that with Rob Hales. The Houses of Parliament ahead, and there's a crash here. So, there's riders on the floor, and there's a Great Britain rider there. Oh, it's Mark Cavendish. Well, what on earth's happened there? His hopes have gone, and he's not a happy bunny.
Well, we did say this can be aggressive racing, and it's so hard for everybody to get the line that they want. Clearly, there was a mistake there. I hope nobody's too seriously injured, but that's Mark Cavendish certainly out of the sprint.
Well, Jock Green of the Barlow World team is now on the front of the main field, and Jill is talking with Hugh Roberts of the Tour of Britain about the future of the event.
Well, I think the UCI need to be convinced that we need to have probably 8 days of racing, 2 extra days. Whether we go on the Pro Tour is a matter of conjecture. It's just settling itself down now on the European circuit. One thing is for sure, that we've got 1 extra year to come in London. Transport for London that have supported this last stage are totally behind the whole idea of getting Londoners back on their bikes. They've seen some huge uptick in the number of people riding to work and to school and just riding for fun. And that's also part of what we're trying to do. We want to see more mass participation rides, more rides which is engaging the ordinary person who likes to ride a bike for fun or for their health, rather than the elite riders who are obviously very much at the pinnacle of their sport.
So the field coming up to the line yet again, and it's Ryan Cox, the South African champion, right on the nose of the peloton. The pace being lifted all the time now. Everybody wants to win this final stage.
Well, the Quick-Step team lining up at the front, they know what they've got to do. They've got to keep this speed absolutely as high as they possibly can. They've got literally hundreds of yards of work left to do before this race is over for them.
Santoramita now lifts the pace. He'll obviously be working for their big sprinter, Luca Paolini. And you can see that they're lining out to give Paolini the lead out. The yellow jersey, Nguyen's just on the outside.
That's Rogers that's taking over now, and he can take it a good quarter of a lap before he'll hand over to a teammate.
This is the way they keep that rhythm very, very high indeed, and it denies anybody else to get a chance in the concluding stages. It looks like one of the Navigator riders here is trying to get in the line.
Well, a little bit of uncertainty there. He's going back. He knows his job is to look after Nguyen. It isn't to figure in the sprint itself, so he's just been very, very careful. It shows just how vigilant that this team is. They know exactly what their job is here today.
And of course, nobody wants to crash now in the concluding stages. The Quick-Step boys really do look powerful here, and there's a little gap just beginning to develop, and the yellow jersey Nguyen was having to just lift the pace a little bit there to get back into the wheel of his teammate. Navigators have got 2 riders here in 2nd and 3rd positions, so they're obviously fancying their chances as well here in the final sprint.
Well, Quick-Step, of course, with Paolini have a chance at the sprint here, but they know that isn't their primary objective, and they've got to be very, very careful that they don't take their eye off the ball in this last few hundred metres.
Well, the Irishman, Kieran Power, in the Navigators team, he's a pretty sharp finisher, and he's based over there in the States. So Kieran Power of the Navigators team, maybe one of the riders in the hunt in the closing stages. Well, Power of Ireland and the Navigators team was looking round, he was hesitating, but now he's taking it on. He's opened a couple of lengths advantage as Kieran Power, but here comes the challenge. It's from Degano of the Bolo World team on the right, and look at the green jersey of Paolini. Paolini's coming through on the left, Roger Hammond's coming through also, but on the line Paolini takes it from Degano and Hammond, and in fourth place Kieran Power. What a terrific sprint that was to tidy up the final stage. Celebrations here then in the Quick Step team. That's the fourth stage victory for them and the second for Luca Paolini.
Worked incredibly hard this week. They've been very, very professional. They've done everything they needed to do, and they deserve every moment of celebration.
Time to lift his arms in the air to salute the crowd as he crossed the line, Paolini. And second position Degano, third Roger de Hammond. The team now joined forces in a victory salute for the crowd, and they've ridden magnificently throughout the whole of this Tour of Britain.
Well, Ken, how have you enjoyed your day here at the Tour of Britain?
Well, it's been incredible. Here you've got a free day out for anybody who wanted to turn up. Tens of thousands of people have come, well up on last year. And now the Tour of Britain is back firmly on the calendar. We're never going to let it go again. Each year will get bigger. And as you know, we've applied to do the Grand Depart of the Tour de France in 2007. And if we get that, then I think cycling will really move up the agenda of British sport. And given we have the Olympics coming in 2012, we're building a wonderful state-of-the-art velo park for that. I mean, cycling's back.
So Luca, how important was your win today?
Yes, for me it's very important today because I love London.
Well said, Luca. He beat Enrico Degano by the distance of a wheel. Britain's Roger Hammond was third and Russell Downing 10th. The 28-year-old Italian from Milan won in Sheffield and now takes the applause in Westminster. Overall, no change. Nick Noyens led the race from day one and finishes 8 seconds ahead of Michael Bloutzen, with Javier Chero Molina in third. London Mayor Ken Livingstone presents Noyens with the trophy. The dual stage winner looked the strongest rider throughout and dominated from day one. His overall victory was combined with stage wins in Castle Douglas and the Birmingham Time Trial.
How exciting was it to race in the UK?
Yeah, it's something special for us. Also because most of the time it's the other side of the road. So, but really nice roads here. Landscape is magnificent. And for sure, the last day here in the middle of London, it's incredible. The crowd was amazing. So it's fantastic.
Paolini won the green jersey competition with 62 points, 13 ahead of teammate Nick Noyens. Welshman Julian Wynne won the King of the Mountains competition ahead of Ryan Cox, and T-Mobile team leader Eric Baumann won the sprint competition. We've had 6 days of first-class road racing and a thrilling finale here in London as the champagne flows goodbye from all of us here in Westminster.